Very good morning to all of you friends. Welcome back. In the last two sessions, we discussed few concepts of standard costing. Further, we discussed variances, that is material and labor variances. So I hope you guys were able to solve the questions of material and labor. So if you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can ask me, waiting for your queries. Okay, I've got a message from Madhuri Likare, sir. Good morning. I have solved the illustration till 8. Very good, Madhuri. Anyone else having any doubts? Let me open the study material in the meanwhile. 1 second, guys. Whatever the queries you have, you guys can please post. Very good morning, Manthanjali. Very good, Mohammed Farad. Guys, we have finished material and labor variances. Just to give you a brief of labor variance, the first one we discussed was labor cost variance. It was standard hour into standard rate minus actual hour into actual rate. Next what we discussed is labor rate variance. Standard rate minus actual rate into actual hours. When talking about labor time variance, it is standard hours minus actual hours paid into standard rate. Idle time variance, idle hours into standard rate. Next variance what we discussed is labor mix variance. Standard mix minus actual hour worked into standard rate. And labor yield variance, or efficiency variance, standard hours minus standard mix into standard rate. So these are all what the concepts we discussed in the last class. Plus, apart from this, we discussed few questions on material variance. So if you guys have any doubts in material and labor variance, you guys can ask me. Very good, Neha Murarka. Let me check what is illustration number 8. Waiting for your queries, guys. I have got one query to discuss illustration number 8. Apart from this, any other queries, guys? Have you guys solved the questions or not? Himanshu Gupta, Manthanjali, Rafika Meman. Guys, I am discussing illustration number 8 for your reference because 2 to 3 students are finding difficulty in illustration number 8. So guys, let's start with illustration number 8 first of all. Now, the standard labor employment and the actual labor engaged in a week for a job are as under. Herein the number of workers in the gang is given, the actual number of workers is the standard number of workers in the gang is given, the actual number of workers employed is given, standard wage rate per hour is given. So herein the number of workers are given and the wage rate is per hour. So we have to first of all find out the hours. Further, actual wage rate per hour is given. During the 40 hours week, so a week constitutes of 40 hours, the gang may produce 1800 labor hours of work. It means herein in this question, the output is not given in units, it is given in hours. I repeat again, in this question, output is not given in units, it is given in hours. Further, you have to calculate labor cost variance, rate variance, efficiency variance, mix variance, and labor yield variance. Very good, Mantanjali. Very good, Pooja. Very good, Shraddha. Very good, Nalini. No, the treatment will be the same. I'll be discussing question number 14 also, don't worry. So let's start with this illustration number 8. So when talking about the standard number of workers, there are 32 skilled workers. So 32 into 40 hours week. So the total hours, that is the budgeted hours for skilled workers is how much? 1280. Further, semi-skilled, it is 12 into 40, that is 480. And 6 into 40, that is 240. Total 2000 hours. The rate is as follows, that is 3, 2, and 1. So this is the budgeted data given. Now when talking about the actual data, the actual number of workers are 28. So 28 into 40, that is 1120 hours. 18 into 40, that is 720 hours. And 4 into 40, that is 160 hours. Again, the total will be 2000 hours, but the output is of 1800 hours only. Further, the rates are given, that is 4, 3 and 2. So this is the question that is given in the study in the material. Very good, Ria. 1 second, guys. So this is what the information that is given in the question, that is the budgeted data and the actual data. Now here in this question, the output is not given in units, it is given in hours. So this budgeted data is related to 2000 hours of output. And the actual data is for 1800 hours of output. So are these two figures comparable? No. We have to convert this 2000 data into 1800 data, and then we will be able to compare. So we'll prepare revised budget for 1800 hours of output. So 1280 hours for 1280 hours for 2000 hours of output. So for 1800 hours of output, how much? 1152 hours. Into the rate is 3. So 1152 into 3, 3456. Again, for semi-skilled also, 480 hours for 2000 hours of output. So for 1800 hours of output, how much? 480 divided by 2000 into 1800, that is 432 into 2, so it will be 864. Similarly, for unskilled 240 hours, for 2000 hours of output, I am not talking about input, 2000 hours of output. So for 1800 hours, how much it will be? 240 divided by 2000 into 1800. So this will be 216 into 1. So this will be 216. So this much is the cost that was supposed to be incurred for 1800 hours of output, and this much is the cost that is actually incurred for 1800 hours of output. Now we can easily calculate the variances. Very good, Hitesh Jain. Very good, Shivani. So we can easily calculate the variance as labor cost variance will be 4536 minus 6960. This will be 2424 adverse. When talking about labor rate variance, the formula is standard rate minus actual rate into actual hours. So this will be 3 minus 4 into 1120. This will be 1120 adverse. 2 minus 3 into 720. So this will be 720 adverse. And 1 minus 2 into 160. This will be 160 adverse. So net will be 2000 adverse. Further, when talking about labor time or efficiency variance, this will be standard hours minus actual hours into standard rate. Now, what is the concept behind this formula? I have already discussed in detail. So, how much hours we were supposed to work for scaled 1152 minus how much hours we actually worked 1120 into 3. Similarly, 432 minus 720, 432 minus 720 into 2. Further, 216 minus 160 into 1. So 1152 minus 1120 into 3. So this will be 96 favorable. 432 minus 720 into 2. This will be 576 adverse. 216 minus 160. So this will be 56 favorable. So the final answer will be 56 plus 96 minus 576. So this will be 424 adverse. So 2000 plus 424 adverse will be 2424 adverse. Now again, labor mix variance, this 2000 should be in the ratio of this. This 2000 should be in the ratio of this. So again, the total is 2000. So we can simply write it in the similar way: 1280, 480, and 240. This should be the mix, but the actual mix for 2000 is 1120, 720, and 160 into the standard rate, that is 3, 2, and 1. So 1280 minus 1120 into 3, this will be 480 favorable. 480 minus 720 into 2, this will be 480 adverse. And 240 minus 160 is 80 favorable. So the total will be 80 favorable. Now the last part, that is labor efficiency variance or yield variance. This work was supposed to be completed in 1800 hours, but we took 2000 hours. The work was supposed to be completed in 1800 hours, but we actually took 2000 hours. Sorry, the work was supposed to be completed. Very good morning, guys. Both the approaches are correct, Jayanti. You can solve the question by the approach of the study material also and my approach also. Both the solutions are correct. So guys, now let's get back to labor efficiency variance. The work was supposed to be completed in 1800 hours, but we actually took 2000 hours. It means 200 hours extra we took into the weighted average rate, that is 4536 divided by 1800. So this is the way you guys have to solve this question. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Very good, Preeti. Both the approaches are correct. You can put idle hours here also and here also. If you keep idle hours here, this time variance will be calculated on the basis of actual hour worked, Jayanti. So I have kept the things simple till here, and here I have put up idle hours for ease. So that's what it is. So both the approaches are correct, Jayanti. Very good morning, Charuka Maheshwari. Yes, Mantanjali, very true, Rekha. This is the best approach to solve the question. In fact, not the best, actually, it's the easiest approach to solve the question. You can solve the question in many ways. If idle hours are given, I mean, you can put up idle hours here also. But the best approach is to go with this way. You will find the things very easy. I request you guys to please copy the solution. Yes, Rajiv Kumar, for developing the speed, you have to practice a lot, my dear. Just want to know, have you guys solved question number 3? That is the practical questions. Waiting for your answers, guys. Have you guys solved question number 3 of practical questions? No worries, Pooja. Okay, there is a query from Pooja, sir. Why we need to multiply 40 with the given? See, Pooja, Dayaram, herein the number of workers are given and the rate is not per worker per hour. So we have to convert it into hours to calculate the variance, Pooja. Rahul, depends upon your practice and speed. I mean, I cannot give you a fixed timeline, but yes, the question can be solved quickly if you are thorough with the concepts. Thank you so much, Preeti. No worries, Mantanjali. Very good, Ankit. Just a second, guys. Oh, I want to give you a question. 1 second, guys. Or let me check if there are any queries. Sir, solve practical question number 14. Okay, Pritika Verma, I'll be discussing practical question number 14. So solve question number 3, sir, in the labor time variance, how this 424A come up. So Ayush Agarwal, when talking about 424 adverse, it is 576 adverse, 56 favorable and 96 favorable. So total adverse is 576. Of this, if we deduct favorable, that is 96 and 56, I will get 424 adverse. Now guys, I hope you guys are thorough with the concepts of material and labor variance. Now there is a question for you guys. There is a question for you guys. The budgeted data is given and the actual data is given. There are two types of raw material. Material A and B are using. the budgeted quantity is 50 and for A and 50 for B, the total input is 100. Sorry. The budgeted quantity of A is given, that is 50, and B is not given. Further, when talking about the price, it is 12 and 15. And the total amount is 600, and this is not given. When talking about the actual data, herein the actual quantity of A is not given. But B is given, that is 70. And the actual rate is given, that is 15 and 20. Further, in this question, material mix variance is given, that is 45 adverse. And material usage variance for B is given, that is 300 adverse. You are required to calculate material cost variance, material price variance, material usage variance, material mix variance, material yield variance. So this is the question that is given, wherein the budgeted quantity is given, assuming the output is same. So no need to, I repeat again, assuming the output is same, so no need to prepare revised standard. This is treat this as the revised standard only. So budgeted and actual output is same, so no need to prepare revised standard. Just calculate these variances and the missing figure. I repeat again, the budgeted quantity is given for A, that is 50, and for B it is not given. The budgeted price is given, that is 12 and 15. Further, when talking about the actual data, the budgeted quantity of B is given, actual quantity of B is given, that is 70. Further, the actual price is also given. When talking about the information that is given in the question, material mix variance is 45 adverse, and material usage variance for B specifically is 300 adverse. You guys have to calculate the missing figures and the relevant variances. So waiting for your answers, guys. I repeat again, I'm waiting for your answers, guys. Be quick. This is material usage variance only for B, not for A. This material usage variance is for B. Not for A. I have got answer from Rahul. Let me check, Rahul, your answer is correct or not. Incorrect answer, Rahul. Very true, Preeti. You can, Kaveri. Both the approaches are correct. Okay, Aniket. Aniket, your answer is correct. So I have got this answer from Aniket, that is the budgeted quantity of B. Aniket has solved, and your answer is correct. Waiting for this answer, that is the actual quantity of A. Aniket was able to solve this question, so this part is correct, Aniket. Very good, guy. Very good, guys. Yes, Rahul, your answer was incorrect. Yeah, I've got answer from Nalini also, and her answer is correct. Very good, Nalini. This mix variance is the total mix variance of A and B. I've got answer from Charuka Maheshwari. Yes, Charuka, your answer is correct. Neha Murarka, your answer is correct. Rajiv Kumar Das, incorrect answer. Prabhas Jain, the budgeted quantity is correct, but your actual quantity is incorrect, Prabhas. Shrinjani Sinha, your budgeted quantity is correct. Yashashri Pandurang, your answer is correct for budgeted quantity. Rajiv Kumar Das, please check your answer. Shraddha, your answer is correct. Neha, Shivani, Aniket, Nalini, all your answers are correct. Still waiting for the others to answer. Where is Hitesh Jain? Manthanjali. Sumit, correct answer. But your answer is the budget for budgeted quantity. Pooja PS, your answer is correct. Himanshu Gupta, yes, your answer is correct. Incorrect answer, Vikas Bansal. So for your ease, I'm discussing this part, that is the budgeted quantity of B. It's very simple, guys. The material usage variance of B is given, that is 300 adverse. When talking about the usage variance, the formula is very simple, that is standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. And this is 300 adverse. So I don't have the standard quantity of B. So let's assume it as X, or we can simply write standard quantity also. Minus the actual quantity is given, that is 70, into standard price is given, that is 15, and this should be equal to 300 adverse. So standard quantity minus 70 is equals to 20. So standard quantity will be 50. So this I have got the answer, that is the standard quantity of B, it is 50 units. So the total budgeted input is 100 units. Further, we can also calculate this part also. 15 5s are 75, so 750 plus 600 this will be 1350. Now this part is left out, so waiting for your answers, guys. Arvind AS, your answer is correct. Very good. Yes, Ritika, very good, guys. Actual quantity is incorrect, Rahul. Arvind AS, your answer is correct. Himanshu Gupta, your answer is correct. Very good, Arvind and Himanshu Gupta. Actual quantity of A is incorrect, Rekha. Manthanjali, standard quantity of B is correct, but I'm waiting for the answers of actual quantity of A. Riya Jaiswal, incorrect answer. Waiting for your answers on this part, guys. Yes, you have written 70. I think your answer you have written is 70, Rajiv Kumar Das. You have written 75, Rajiv, not 50. Rashmin Kumar, incorrect answer. Aniket Srivastav, incorrect answer. Now, guys, I'm discussing this part. The calculation is a bit tricky. So here in no other variances are given apart from material mix variance. So we have to use material mix variance to calculate the actual quantity. So when talking about material mix variance, the formula is standard mix minus actual quantity into standard price, and this is given, that is 45 adverse. So let's assume this quantity as X. So my total input will be 70 plus X. I repeat again, guys. Let's assume this quantity as X, that is the actual quantity of A be X. Incorrect answer, Rajiv, Yogita. No worries, Rajiv. Incorrect answer, Nalini. Incorrect answer, Hitesh Jain. Incorrect answer, Madhuri. Swati, incorrect answer. Prabhas Jain, incorrect answer. Very good morning, Shivam. Your answer is incorrect. Yashashri, incorrect answer. Mantanjali, incorrect answer. Yogita Kumar Devda, your answer is incorrect. The budgeted quantity of B is 50. I have solved standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. This should be minus 300. So standard quantity minus 70 should be minus 20. So standard quantity will be equal to 50. So this is how I calculated 50. Shrinjani Sinha, very good. Your answer is correct. Now see, we have to use material mix variance to calculate the actual quantity of A. So let's assume that the actual quantity of A be X. So the total will be 70 plus X. So this is the actual quantity, the total actual quantity. And when talking about standard mix, this 70 plus X should be in the ratio of 50:50. So let's apply the formula. That is for A, it should be, what should be the mix? Very simple, 70 plus X should be in the ratio of 50:50, that is 1:1. So 70 plus X into 1/2. 70 plus X into 1 by 2. This should be the standard mix. When talking about the actual mix, it is X into the standard rate, that is 12. For B also similarly, the 70 plus X should be in the ratio of 50:50, that is into 1 by 2 minus the actual quantity, that is 70, and this should be multiplied by 15. And the total of this should be how much? 45 adverse. So let's solve it now. The total of this should be 45 adverse. I repeat again, since no other information is given in the question, we'll be calculating actual quantity with the help of material mix variance. And as I said, actual quantity of A, B, X. So the total actual input will be how much? 70 plus X. This will be the actual input. So this should be in the ratio of 1:1. So 70 plus X into 1 by 2 is my standard mix for A, and 70 plus X into 1 by 2, this should be the standard mix for B, minus the actual quantity, that is X and 70 into standard price, that is 12 and 15. So let's solve it now. So this will be 35 plus 0.5x minus x into 12 plus 35 plus 0.5x minus 70 into 15 should be equal to minus 45. So let's further multiply it. 35 into 12, this will be 420. 0.5x minus x is minus 0.5x. This will be minus 6x plus 35 minus 70 into 15. This will be minus 525 plus 7.5x minus 45. So open the brackets and solve it. So 420 minus So this is how the value of X will be calculated using material mix variance. The calculation is a bit tricky, guys. So if you guys have any doubts in this calculation, you guys can ask me. So here in the material mix variance is given, that is 45. So let's assume the actual quantity of A, B, X. So the total actual input will be how much? 70 plus X. This should be in the ratio of 50:50. So this will be 70 plus X, that is the actual quantity, into 1 by 2 minus X into standard price, that is 12. Similarly, again, standard mix for B will be 70 plus X into 1 by 2 minus the actual quantity, that is 70, multiplied by standard price, and the total should be 45. So just simplifying this equation, I'll get the value of X, that is 40. So now I have the figure of my actual quantity of A, B 40. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Very good, Mantanjali. Very good, Hitesh. Very good, Charuka. Any doubts, Nalini? Any doubts, Rajiv Kumar Das? So this is the final answer, that is A. The quantity of A will be 40. So 15 into 4. If you guys have any doubts in this question, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. It is already considered, that is 70 plus x into 1 by 2 minus 70 into 15. This is simplified as follows, and accordingly we have got this answer, that is 40. Yes, Preeti, your answer is correct. Very good, Preeti. Now you can easily calculate all the variance. The hard work is all over. If you guys want to copy this part, you guys can please copy. As far as calculation of variance is concerned, you guys can solve it on your own. So I request you guys to please copy the solution. Very good, Pooja PS. Very good, Ankit Gupta. Very good, Preeti. I appreciate your efforts. Shivam Durya and Siddhapa Kample, sir. What 1 by 2 is, how 1 by 2 is taken? Very simple, 50 by 100 is 1 by 2. So this should be the mix. That is, the mix should be in the ratio of 1:1. Very good, Preeti. $110 is the input. Prabhas Jain. So guys, now enough of discussion on material and labor variances. I have covered the concept in detail. I've got answers, all the answers from Himanshu Gupta. I think all your answers are correct. So guys, Himanshu Gupta has solved all the variances. Material cost variance he has calculated is 650 adverse. Material price variance 470 adverse. Material usage variance 180 adverse. Yield variance he has calculated 135 adverse, and mixed variance 45 adverse. I think your answers are correct, but I'm not sure. So guys, try and solve. In fact, I have got the answers from many of you, and सबके answers match हो रहे हैं. So I think all your answers are correct. Neha, Murarka, everyone, your answers are correct. I'll be addressing your query, Nidhi. Let others solve the practical question, because today I want to discuss fixed overhead variance in detail. So it will take an hour to discuss the things in detail. So in the meanwhile, there is one more class for standard costing. So in the next session, I'll try to address all your queries in detail. So let everyone solve the practical questions, and then we will try to discuss all the queries. Yes, it is, Mr. Prakash. Pooja PS, sir, can we get this pattern in exam, sir? If yes, what will be the weightage? 8 marks, Pooja. So guys, now enough of discussion on material and labor variances. Few students were having doubts in one or two practical questions. So I'll be addressing all your queries in the next question. I request you to solve all the questions of study material after concluding this session. So whatever the doubts you have, you guys can ask me in the next session. So let's start, guys. Yes, Rajiv Kumar. So now let's start with fixed overhead variances, the next part of the chapter and the very important part. Now, very important, guys, in most of the cases, the question will be given in a tabular form, that is budget and actual. The days will be given in the question. Let's say my budgeted days are 25 and the actual days are 26. Hours will also be given, that is 30,000 and 33,000. Units will also be given, that is 30,000 and 32,500. And overheads will be given, that is fixed overheads. Let's say it is 45,000 and 50,000. So guys, in most of the cases, the question will be given in this format. But if the question is not given in this format, you guys have to write the question in this format only to make the things easier for you. I repeat again, guys, in most of the cases, the question will be given. In most of the cases, the question will be given in this format only. But yes, if in case the question is not in this format, try to convert the question in this format. So now, guys, let's start with fixed overhead variances. The first is fixed overhead cost variance. I request you guys to please pay attention. I'm starting with fixed overhead variances. We are done with the investigation of material and labor department. Now we are proceeding towards the fixed overhead department, wherein we are calculating the fixed overhead cost variance. Now, this calculation of cost variance is nothing but a calculation of under or over absorption of overheads. Very simple, guys. I repeat again, this calculation of fixed overhead cost variance is calculation of under or over absorption of fixed overheads. Very simple, guys. Thank you so much, Preeti. Thanks for the compliment. I'll put up many more questions in front of you. So now, fixed overhead cost variance, how to calculate? Very simple, guys. 45,000 overheads for 30,000 units. My absorption rate is how much? 1.5 per unit into my actual units, that is 32,500 units. So how much will be my absorbed overhead? Very simple, 45,000 for 30,000 units. So for 32,500 units, how much? 48,750 is my absorbed overheads. And my actual overheads are 50,000. So 1250 is adverse. I repeat again, guys. My absorbed overheads are 48,750 and my actual overheads are 50,000. It means what? It is under or over absorption. Guys, tell me. I have discussed this part in detail in overheads. 1250. It is under or over absorption. Can you help me out with it? Hitesh Jain, Mantanjali, Rajiv Kumar Das. This 1250 adverse is under or over absorption. I have discussed under and over absorption concept in detail in overheads. This 1250 is under or over absorption. Waiting for your answers, guys. %50 are answering, sir, it is over absorption. 50% are answering it is under absorption. Himanshu Gupta under, Deepak Goyal over, Rafika Meman over, Prabhas Jain over absorption, Riya Jaiswal under absorption, Pooja PS under absorption, Aniket Srivastav under, Ritika Verma over absorption, Madhuri over absorption, Tisha under absorption. Sleeping or what, guys? 50% are answering yes, 50% are answering no. You guys decide and tell me in the later half, just keeping it for you only, the suspense. You guys do revise overheads and come with the answer that whether it is under or over absorption. Guys, do revise overheads. Do revise overheads once again to figure out that whether it is under or over absorption. My work is here till now. So herein, very simple, guys. 45,000 overheads for 30,000 units. So for 32,500 units, how much? 48,750. 48,750 minus 50,000, the actual overhead we will get 1250 adverse. So this is fixed overhead cost variance. I repeat again, 45,000 for 30,000 units. So for 32,500 units, how much? 48,750. But how much we actually incurred? 50,000. So 1250 extra. So it is adverse. Next is yes, Pooja, your answer is correct, my dear. Hitesh Jain, your answer is correct. Rashmin Kumar, incorrect answer. Chetra, incorrect answer. Arvind, your answer is correct. Anyways, don't want to discuss this part again. Try to revise overheads and then figure out that whether it is under or over absorption. So now, next is fixed overhead expenditure variance. So I repeat again, cost variance. So cost variance, very simple to keep the things very simple. 45,000 overheads for 30,000 units. So for 32,500 units, how much? 48,750 minus the absorbed overhead is 48,750 and my actual overhead हमने कितना खर्च किया 50,000. How much extra? 1250. That is adverse. Now next is fixed overhead expenditure variance. Very simple. Since the fixed overhead remained constant at all the level of production, so 45,000 we were supposed to incur. And actually we incurred how much? 50,000. So how much extra we incurred? 5,000. So it is adverse. I repeat again, fixed overhead expenditure variance. Very simple. कितना खर्च करना चाहिए था? 45,000. हमने कितना खर्च किया? 50,000. How much extra we spent? 5,000. So 5,000 adverse. Yes, Anugupta. Yes, Chetra. Now answer is correct. Yes, Rajiv Kumar. Now your answer is correct. Incorrect answer, Mohammad Farad. Now, I repeat again, guys. Now, enough of under or over absorption. Please pay attention to what I'm teaching. Just leave that part, revise overheads, and then come with the answer. Let's focus on fixed overhead variances. Very simple. I have discussed fixed overhead cost variance. Very simple. 45,000 खर्च होता है 30,000 यूनिट पे, तो 32,500 पे कितना होना चाहिए था? 48,750. And how much we incurred extra? 50,000. How much we incurred? 50,000. How much extra? 1250. That's why it is adverse. When talking about expenditure variance, very simple. Since fixed overhead remained constant at all the level of production, so how much we were supposed to incur? 45,000. How much we actually incurred? 50,000. 5,000 extra we incurred, so it is adverse. Now, very simple, guys. Next is fixed overhead volume. Fixed overhead volume variance. Volume means what? Units. Volume means units. How much units we were supposed to produce? 30,000 units. Guys, enough of discussion on under or over absorption. Please focus on what I am teaching. It's very important, guys. Fixed overhead volume variance. Volume means units. So now, how much units we were supposed to manufacture? 30,000 units. How much units we actually manufactured? 32,500 units. It means we did a great job. We worked above our capacity and we manufactured extra units. So now this variance will be favorable. But we have to explain the variance in monetary terms. So very simple, guys. We were supposed to manufacture 30,000 units. But we actually manufactured 32,500 units. So herein, we manufactured extra 2,500 units. From herein, we will be taking the budgeted rate as I discussed in the material part also. So 2,500 units extra into the budgeted rate. Now, since it is units, so we'll be taking the budgeted rate per unit, that is 45,000 divided by 30,000. So my budgeted rate per unit will be how much? 1.5 per unit. How come 1.5 per unit? Very simple. 45,000 divided by 30,000 units. So this will be 3750 favorable. This part is favorable. I repeat again, guys. We were supposed to manufacture 30,000 units, but we actually manufactured 32,500 units, 2,500 units extra. So this variance is favorable, first of all. Since explaining in monetary terms, the budgeted rate, since this is units, so we'll be taking the budgeted rate per unit. If it is hours, we will be taking the budgeted rate per hour. Since we are calculating volume variance and it represents the variance in the units, so here this is how we will calculate the volume variance. Now this, there are three parts. First one is fixed overhead. Calendar variance. When talking about calendar variance, this talks about days. Now, very simple, guys. Do pay attention to what I'm explaining and my statement. We should have worked for 25 days. I repeat again, the company says that you have to work for 25 days. But my staff were present for 26 days. That is 1 day extra my staff were present in the office. So it is favorable or adverse? Very important, guys, it is favorable. I repeat again, I have instructed my staff to work for 25 days in a month, but my staff were present for 26 days in a month. 1 day extra they were present. So first and the foremost thing, it is favorable. Forget about how efficiently they are working. I'll be discussing efficiency variance separately. But when talking about the days part, they were supposed to work for 25 days, but they worked for 26 days. That is, they worked extra 1 day. So this is favorable, guys. So I instructed my staff to work for 25 days, but they worked for 26 days. That is 1 day extra. Into, since it is day, so we'll be taking the rate per day, that is 45,000 divided by 25. This is rupees 1800 per day. So this will be 1800 favorable. How come 1800 per day? Writing it for your explanation, for your more understanding. 45,000 divided by 25 days. Here there were 2,500. No worries, Nalini, please take care and get well soon. So herein, when talking about the volume, it talks about units. So herein there were 2,500 units. So I have taken the rate per unit. Herein, it is 1 day, so I have taken the rate per day. If you guys have any doubts why it is favorable, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Again, I repeat, my company has instructed the staff to present for 25 days in a month, but my staff did well. They worked for 26 days in a month. 1 day extra they were present. Again, I request you guys to forget about efficiency. Ignore efficiency because I'll be covering this part separately. Just think from days perspective. You were supposed to present for 25 days in office, but you were present for 26 days. So 1 day extra you were present into the rate per day. So this variance will be favorable. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Yes, Mantanjali. Anyone else having any doubts why it is favorable? Waiting for your queries, guys. Most of the students, they do mistake in exams that, sir, 25 days we have to work. We work for 26 days, so it should be adverse. No, guys, it is favorable. In fixed overhead, the maximum students face the similar problem that whether the variance is adverse or favorable. So do pay attention to my explanation. That very simple, guys. You were supposed to be present in office for 25 days, but you are present for 26 days. It means 1 day extra you worked in office. So that's why this calendar variance is favorable. Very true, Rashmin Kumar. Now one more variance, that is fixed overhead capacity variance. Most of the students find the difficulty in capacity variance. Very simple, guys. It talks about hours. It talks about hours. So now very important, guys, capacity variance, fixed overhead capacity variance, it talks about hours. So now very important, how much hours we were supposed to work? 30,000. How much hours we worked? 33,000. Now very important, we worked 3,000 hours extra, so it should be favorable. Now very important, this 30,000 hours were for 25 days. And we have worked for 26 days. It means 1 day extra we work. So we have to calculate the hours for 26 days. So very simple, guys. We can explain it in this way. It's not correct that we should have worked for 30,000 hours and we have actually worked for 33,000 hours. So 3,000 hours we worked extra. We cannot say this because the number of days we are working more. So now, very simple, guys. We can write the explanation that we have the capacity to work for 31,200 hours. That is 30,000 hours in 25 days. So in 26 days, 31,200 hours. So we have the capacity to work for 31,200 hours in 26 days, but we worked for 33,000 hours. I repeat again, let's assume that if it is 25 days budgeted and 25 days actual, we can simply say that we have the capacity to work for 30,000 hours in 25 days. We actually work for 33,000 hours in 25 days. So we can say that 3,000 hours extra. But herein there are change in days. The budgeted days are 25 and the actual days are 26. So now the correct statement will be, we have the capacity to work for 31,200 hours in 26 days. But in these 26 days, we work for 33,000 hours. It means what? 1,800 hours extra we worked over and above our capacity. Over and above our capacity. That is, we have worked for 1800 hours above our capacity. Therefore, I hope this part is visible to all. Therefore, 1800 hours. Now we'll be taking the rate per hour. So 45,000 divided by 30,000 hours, since it is hours. So 1.5 per hour will be the rate. So this will be 2700. Very big favorable. I am writing this explanation for your understanding. No need to write this explanation in exams. This is just for your understanding so that you guys can memorize while revising the subject. So very important, guys. First of all, we cannot say that we have the capacity to work for 30,000 hours. We work for 33,000 hours. It means 3,000 hours work be extra. This statement is incorrect. Why? Because the budgeted days and the actual days are different. So very simple, guys. We can say we have the capacity to work for 31,200 hours in 26 days. But in these 26 days, we worked for 33,000 hours. It means 1800 hours extra we worked in these 26 days into the rate that is 1.5 per hour. That is the budgeted rate per hour. So this is how I got 2700 favorable. Now, if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries. Yes, Mantanjali. This is 1.5 per hour. That is 45,000 divided by 30,000 hours. Mantanjali. Shivani, keep the thing simple, very simple, my dear. That we were supposed to manufacture 30,000 units, but we worked 32, but we manufactured 32,500 units. So how much extra units we manufactured? 2,500. So that's why it is favorable, Shivani. I have written it for your reference. That is, we have the capacity to work for 31,200 hours. That is, how come 31,200? 30,000 hours for 25 days. So for 26 days, how much? 31,200 hours. 30,000 for 25 days. So for 26 days, 31,200 hours. It means we have the capacity to work for 31,200 hours in 26 days. But in these 26 days, we worked above our capacity. Again, guys, forget about the efficiency. I'll be covering the efficiency part separately. Keep the thing simple. In 26 days, कितने hours काम करना था? 31,200. In the same 26 days, how much hours we actually worked? 33,000. How much hours we extra worked? 1,800 hours. So that's why it is favorable. $1,800 into 1.5 is, this is how I got 2,700. Not required, Rashmin Kumar. This is the easiest approach. Again, there are many approaches to solve this question, but still, this is the easiest approach. That's why I'm discussing, my dear. Rashmin Kumar, it is 30,000 for 25 days. So for 26 days, it is 31,200. Any doubts? Shweta Jain, Siddhappa, Bantanjali, Rajiv Kumar, Chetra, Mohammad Farad, Anu Gupta, Isha Jaiswal, Rashmin Kumar, Sushil Kumar, Kaveri, Shruti, Sneha, Arvind, Shrinjani. Any doubts, guys? Waiting for your queries. Thank you so much, Mohammad Farad. Okay, Pooja PS. If it is units, we will be using budgeted rate per unit. If it is hours, we will use the budgeted rate per hour. If it is days, we will use the budgeted rate per day. Any doubts, Rajiv Kumar, Shivani? Waiting for your queries, guys. Chetra Heber, sir, how come I got 1.5 per hour? Very simple, Chetra. Total 45,000 overheads divided by 30,000 hours. This is how I got 1.5 per hour. Again, guys, this is the most difficult part of the chapter. The solutions in the module are a bit different and tricky, but this is the easiest possible way to understand fixed overhead. So I'm discussing in this way. Now let's proceed further with the last variance, that is fixed overhead efficiency variance. Last part, but not least, it talks about efficiently, that whether we are working efficiently or not. So now, guys, let's start with fixed overhead efficiency variance. Now, very important, guys, whether we worked efficiently or not, we have to figure out. So very simple, 30,000 units, 30,000 hours. 30,000 units we were supposed to manufacture in 30,000 hours. 30,000 units we were supposed to manufacture in 30,000 hours. It means one unit should take not more than 1 hour. As per the budget, 30,000 units should take not more than 30,000 hours. So it means one unit should be completed in 1 hour. The actual production is 32,500 units. Very good morning, Harsh. The actual production is 32,500 units. It means the work should have been completed in 32,500 hours. I repeat again, guys. Sneha Anand, this is the way I'll be discussing this part separately. Let me complete this explanation. So 30,000 units, 30,000 hours. So one unit should take not more than 1 hour. It means the actual production, that is 32,500 units, should be completed in 32,500 hours. But For this 32,500 units, how much hours we consumed? 33,000 hours we consumed. It means there is an inefficiency of 500 hours. There is an inefficiency of 500 hours. Very simple, guys. The work was supposed to be completed in 32,500 hours, but we completed in 33,000 hours. So it means 500 hours is our inefficiency into the rate per hour, that is 1.5 per hour. So this will be 750 hours. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Very good, Sushil Kumar. Thank you so much. Very good, Rashmin Kumar. Very good. So very simple, guys. Efficiency, very simple. The work was supposed to be completed in 32,500 hours, but we actually took 33,000 hours to complete the work. It means 500 hours we worked extra, we consumed extra. So it shows the inefficiency. So that's why it is adverse. Now, very important, guys. Fixed overhead expenditure plus volume will be equal to cost. That is 5,000 minus 3,750 is 1,250 adverse. Again, the calendar capacity and efficiency will be equal to volume variance. That is 1,800 favorable, 2,700 favorable. So this will be 4,500 favorable minus 750 adverse. So this is how 3,750 favorable. So very simple. This two will be equal to this cost variance. Calendar capacity and efficiency will be equal to volume variance. Now, if you guys have any doubts with the explanation part, you guys can ask me. As far as this capacity variance, the most trickier one, I have written the explanation so that you guys can so that you guys can understand the things while revising during the exam. So please do copy this explanation specifically, because many students face this problem that whether this variance is adverse or favorable. So I have written the concept for your reference, but while presenting in the exams, very simple, you have to present the calculation part only. That is more than sufficient. So this is all what my explanation of fixed overhead, the most trickier part of the chapter. If you guys have any doubts, any queries, you guys can ask me, waiting for your queries. Yes, the formulas are very difficult to remember, Mantanjali. No worries, Mantanjali. Thank you so much for the compliment. Okay, Pooja. This is under absorption, my dear. Pradeep Gupta, this is under absorption. I assure you, Preeti Panchal, by the end of by the time I finish this fixed overhead variances, you guys will be thorough with the names and how to calculate. Still much more to discuss, so don't worry, Preeti. Thank you so much, Mantanjali. No, Vikas. Thank you so much, Rajiv Kumar. Siddhapa, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harsh. I will be, Pooja. Don't worry. I'll be putting up 2 to 3 questions in this session only for the clear understanding of this concept of fixed overhead. Don't worry, Pooja. It is easy, Harsh. Don't worry. Waiting for your queries, guys. Whatever the queries you have, you guys can please ask me. Thank you, Rashmin Kumar. Yes, Sushil Kumar, there is no alternative of practice and hard work. So you have to practice a lot. That's great, Ria. Still, even if you guys have any minor doubts also, please ask me. Further giving you 2 minutes time. So please copy this explanation. I'll be discussing few things more in few more things in fixed overhead variances. Apart from this, I'll be putting up 2-3 questions in front of you. So let's see who will be able to solve. So first of all, if you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Pradeep Gupta, it is already covered in detail in overhead, so you can refer. Thank you so much, Kaveri. Himanshu Gupta, thank you so much. Anyone else having any doubts? Waiting for your queries, guys. So, guys, let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we'll start with the remaining concepts of fixed overheads. Yes, Aradhana, I'm taking a break now. So let's take a break of 10 minutes. We'll be back after 10 minutes with few more points on fixed overhead. So don't worry, guys. Sir, let's take a break of 10 minutes, please. Welcome back, guys, after a refreshing break. So, guys, I have explained in detail the concepts of fixed overheads, and I think since no queries are posted, so I think you guys are thorough with the concepts. So, guys, now let's proceed further and discuss few more points on fixed overheads. Now, let's take a situation. Now, let's take a situation wherein the days are not given in the question. So, what will be the impact on the other variances? So, I repeat again, guys, this is the question. Herein, no information is given as regards days. So, now let's recalculate all the variances. So, the first part will be fixed overhead cost variance. And this cost variance will remain unchanged. This cost calculation will remain unchanged because the days are not impacting the cost variance. So very simple, 45,000 for 30,000 units. So for 32,500, how much? 48,750 minus 50,000. So this is 1,250 adverse. So the calculation of cost variance will remain unchanged. That is, we will calculate the cost variance in similar way. Whether the days are given or not given, the cost variance will remain same. Now next is fixed overhead. Expenditure variance, again, no change, very simple. 45,000 minus 50,000. So 5,000 adverse. So there will be no change. Next is fixed overhead volume variance. If days are given, not given, again it is irrelevant. Very simple. We were supposed to manufacture 30,000 units. We actually manufactured 32,500 units. So how many extra units? 2,500 units. Volume means units. So into the rate, budgeted rate per unit, that is 1.5 per unit. 45,000 divided by 30,000 units. So 1.5 per unit. So it will be 3,750 favorable. So till now, there will be no change in the calculation. We will calculate the variance in the similar way as we calculated in the previous question. The days will not impact these three variances. I request you to please refresh your internet connection, Neha. Now, very important, guys. Since days are not given, so the calendar variance that is related to days will not be calculated. Since the days are not given, so the calendar variance will not be calculated. So now, we will directly calculate the capacity variance. And this will be very simple. We have the capacity to work for 30,000 hours and we actually worked for 33,000 hours. 3,000 hours above our capacity. I repeat again, I am writing this explanation. We have the capacity to work for 30,000 hours, but we worked for 33,000 hours. That is 3,000 hours above our capacity. Therefore, 3,000 hours into 1.5 per hour rate. So this will be 4,500 favorable. So no calendar variance will be calculated, and yes, it will impact the capacity variance because the days are not given. So we will assume that the days are same, that is budgeted and actual days are same. Now again, no change in efficiency variance. $30,000 units, 30,000 hours. So 1 unit, 1 hour. It means 32,500 units, same 32,500 hours. And the work was completed in 33,000 hours. So 500 hours inefficiency into the rate per hour, that is 1.5 per hour. So this will be 750 adverse. And 4,500 favorable, 750 adverse, this will be 3,750 favorable. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. If the days are not given, the only impact will be on the capacity variance, and further the calendar variance will not be calculated. So whatever the queries you have in this part, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. I request you guys to please copy this solution. Any doubts? Rajiv Kumar, Mantanjali, Chaitra, Neha, Rekha, Yashashri, Aradhna, any doubts? Edwin sir, can you please check? Am I visible to all guys? Waiting for your queries, guys. If you guys have any doubts, queries, can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Vikas Bansal, I'll be discussing illustration number 10 separately. Let me complete the concepts once. Rashmin Kumar Majitia, very simple. When talking about efficiency variance, it talks about that whether we completed the target in or within the time or we took extra time. So herein in this case, 30,000 units should be completed in the 30,000 hours. That was what the target given. It means one unit should take not more than 1 hour. One unit should not take more than 1 hour. So since we have manufactured 32,500 units, so the work was supposed to be completed in 30 to 500 hours only. But however, the work was completed in 33,000 hours. It means 500 hours we took extra. It shows the inefficiency. So that's why it is adverse. Admin sir, please check the board quality. I think the screen is blur. Many students are facing the same problem. Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir, are you there? I think the screen is blur because few students are raising the same point. Okay, so I'm visible. My board is visible to all. Okay, fine, sir. Very good, Pradeep Gupta. I really appreciate your efforts that you have checked the lecture of overhead. No worries. So now this part is over. I think someone want to copy this part. 1 second. Can you please explain your query in detail, Neha? Sir, can you please put the session on hold for 2 minutes? Hello guys, welcome back. I think there was some technical issues, so no worries. Okay, Shivani, please do copy. Please copy this part, guys. I hope the board is visible to all. I hope the board is visible to all. Okay, Neha Murarka, can you please help me out with where exactly you're finding difficult? Now, very important, Neha, just for you, again, I'm explaining the things in detail. When talking about volume, very simple. Just check the unit. Just think practically that how much units we were supposed to manufacture. Very simple, 30,000. But how much units we actually manufactured? 32,500 units. It means 2,500 units हमने ज़्यादा manufacture किए. So it is good for the company. So this variance will be favorable. अगर हम लोग कम units manufacture करते हैं, so it is bad for the company, so it will be adverse. Now moving towards the next part, that is calendar variance. Again, forget about inefficiency. Just think how much days you were supposed to be present in office. So in the same question, 25 days. But how many days you were actually present? 26 days. It means my staff worked 1 day extra. So this is favorable. When talking about capacity also, I have written the explanation in detail that we have the capacity to work for 30,000 hours. हम लोगों की 30,000 घंटे काम करने की ही capacity थी. But within the given time, we work for 33,000 hours. It means within that time frame, we worked extra, we worked overtime. So it is a favorable variance. But when talking about inefficiency, very simple. Efficiency shows that whether the targets are being achieved or not. So herein, my target is that 1 unit should not take more than 1 hour. Listen to the explanation, Neha. 1 unit should not take more than 1 hour. So herein, my target is that 32,500 units should be completed in 32,500 hours only. But instead of 32,500 hours, we work for 33,000 hours. It means it shows 500 hours inefficiency. So that's why it is adverse. So now this part is done. Now let's proceed further. Now, what if in case hours are not given and days are given? I'll be discussing 2-3 more questions, Neha, for better understanding. So don't worry. Have some patience. Listen carefully to my statements and explanation. You will be able to understand that whether a particular variance is adverse or favorable. Again, you have to practice a lot to figure out the things, but I'll be discussing 2-3 more questions for clear understanding. So now let's proceed further without wasting time. Yes, you can, Mohammad Farad. So now without wasting time, let's proceed further. What if in case hours are not given? No information is given in the question as regards hours. Now the question is how to calculate the variance. So the first variance is cost variance, no change, nothing to do with hours. it will remain same. Again, expenditure variance. वेरी सिंपल, कितना खर्च करना चाहिए था? 45,000 खर्च करना चाहिए था, हमने कितना खर्च कर दिया? 50,000 ज्यादा खर्च कर दिया, 5,000 रुपीज हमने ज्यादा खर्च कर दिया, सो इट इज एडवर्स. सो 5,000 एडवर्स. वॉल्यूम वेरिएंस, वेरी सिंपल, कितने यूनिट्स बनाने चाहिए थे? 30,000 यूनिट्स बनाने चाहिए थे, हमने कितने बना दिए? 32,500 यूनिट्स बना दिए, मतलब 2,500 यूनिट्स ज्यादा बना दिए. So it is favorable for the company. So 2,500 units into the rate per unit 45,000 divided by 30,000, that is 1.5 per unit. So this will be 3,750 favorable. So again, this will remain same, this will remain same. Calendar variance, very simple, no change. Very simple, कितने दिन ऑफिस आना चाहिए था? No worries, that's completely okay. 1 second, Neha. So now, कितने दिन ऑफिस आना चाहिए था एम्प्लॉइज को? 25 days in a month. एम्प्लॉइज आए कितने दिन? 26 days. 1 day extra आए एम्प्लॉइज. So it is favorable for the company. So we have worked 1 day extra into the rate per day, that is 1,800 per day. So this will be 1,800 favorable. Now, since hours are not given, so no capacity variance. I repeat again, since the days were not given, so no calendar variance. If hours are not given, then no capacity variance. Now, when talking about efficiency variance, in the previous two questions, we were calculating the efficiency using hours. But in this question, no information is given as regards hours. Now, how to calculate the efficiency variance? So, very simple, we will calculate the efficiency variance using days. So, days and units. So, 25 days, how many units were supposed to be manufactured? 30,000 units. So, since we have actually worked for 26 days, so how many units were supposed to be manufactured in 26 days? 31,200 units. That is 30,000 units, 25 days. So 26 days, how many units? 31,200 units. It means in 26 days, we should have manufactured 31,200 units. Again, guys, don't write adverse or favorable on plus or minus. Just think that what exactly the logic behind adverse or favorable. So very important, in 26 days, how many units we were supposed to manufacture? 31,200. But very important, in these 26 days, we actually manufactured 32,500 units. I repeat again, 26 days में कितने यूनिट मैन्युफैक्चर करने थे? 31,200 यूनिट्स मैन्युफैक्चर करने थे. बट यही 26 डेज में instead of 31,200 we manufactured 32,500 units. It means it is favorable or adverse? Waiting for your answers, guys. It is favorable or adverse? Can you please help me out with it? 1,300 units we have got into the rate per unit, that is 1.5. So 1,950. It is favorable or adverse? Waiting for your answers, guys. I've got an answer from Mr. Farad. Yes, your answer is correct. Perfect, Preeti. Very good. Guys, this variance is favorable or adverse? I want your answer. Just think logically. Don't think that agar minus आया तो adverse, plus आया तो favorable. Just think logically. that 26 days में कितने यूनिट्स बनाने चाहिए थे 31,200 वही 26 डेज में हमने कितने यूनिट बना दिए 32,500 मतलब 1,300 एक्स्ट्रा यूनिट्स हमने बनाए 26 डेज में so it is favorable or adverse waiting for your answers quick the time is running it's already 9:20 okay I've got answers Neha very good correct answer I appreciate finally you are thorough with the concepts Himanshu Gupta favorable Neha favorable correct answers Charuka correct answer Feba Biju Thomas still sleeping or what your answer is incorrect Feba rest all everybody was able to answer it correct very good everyone very good it is favorable so if days are not given calendar variance will not be calculated if hours are not given capacity variance will not be calculated so if you guys have any doubts any queries you guys can post your queries I am done with the explanation the conceptual part of fixed overheads so if you guys have any conceptual query whether it is adverse or favorable and any other doubts you guys can ask me waiting for your queries guys in the meanwhile I request you guys to please copy this part efficiency variance specifically Any doubts? Mantanjali, Kaveri, Poonam, Siddhappa, Prabhas, Vaishali, Neha, Sushil Kumar. Any doubts? Preeti, Rajiv Kumar, Shivani, Pooja, Chaitra, Pradeep, Vijay, Aniket, Mohammad Farad. It is favorable, my dear. Yes, Mantanjali. In every case, the units will be given, Poonam Sharma, so no worries. Whatever the examiner can ask you in worst possible situation, I have already explained the things in detail. One more part is left out, but I want you guys to be thorough with these concepts first. Then I'll be covering this part separately. Anyone else having any doubts? Yes, it is compulsory to write favorable or adverse in exams. This is 1800, that is 1950. So 1800 plus 1950 is 3750. Rajiv Kumar Das, any doubts? Mantanjali, any doubts? Siddhappa, Shivam. Kaveri, Menka, Ankit Gupta, Mohammad Farad, any doubts? Yes, you can, Rajiv Kumar. Anyways, thank you so much. You can write the direct calculation also, Ankur Singh. Let me discuss one more concept. since we are left out with 5 more minutes, so let me cover one more concept. What if in case idle hours are given in the question? What if the idle hours are given in the question? I repeat again, guys. What if in case if idle hours are given in the question? Let's say in this question, idle hours are given, that is 200 hours. So again, no change in the cost variance, it will be 1250 adverse. No change in the expenditure variance, it will be 5000 adverse. No change in volume variance, it will be same, that is 3750 favorable. Again, no change in calendar variance also. It will remain same, that is 1 day into 1800. So this will be 1800 favorable. No change in capacity variance also. That is 1800 hours into 1.5, that is 2700 favorable. So no change till now. But herein, when talking about the efficiency variance, we have calculated the inefficiency of 500 hours. I repeat again, guys, when talking about the efficiency part, the work was supposed to be completed in 32,500 hours. We completed in 33,000 hours. So there was an inefficiency of 500 hours. Of this 500 hours inefficiency, 200 is the idle time. So here we will write idle time variance as calculated. We have calculated the inefficiency of 500 hours. Of this 500 hours, 200 hours is idle hours. And 300 hours is inefficiency. So we will calculate idle time variance, that is 200 into 1.5 per hour, and 300 into 1.5 per hour will be an inefficiency. So this is how the idle time variance will be calculated, that is 300 adverse and 450 adverse will be the efficiency variance. So in short, whatever the inefficiency we are calculating, the actual inefficiency in this question is only of 300 hours. 200 hours were lost due to idle time. So we will be showing this calculation separately as idle time variance. So idle hours, idle time is going to affect only the efficiency variance, nothing. Rest all the variances will remain same. So the inefficiency we have calculated. How come 32,500 units should be completed in 32,500 hours? But we actually took 33,000 hours. So 500 hours we took extra. Of that 500 extra hours, 200 hours are idle hours and 300 hours shows inefficiency. So वो जो 500 hours का variance हम लोग inefficiency show करते थे, it will be broken up into two parts. That is 200 hours will be showing idle time variance and 300 hours will represent inefficiency. So that is all what about the concept of idle time variance. Practical approach is more important, Hitesh Jain. So this is all what about if idle hours are given. Whatever the queries you guys have, you guys can please post your query. Giving you last 2 minutes, guys. It is given in the question. This is the question, my dear. Anyone having any doubts can please ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Rajiv Kumar Das, yes, you have to. So guys, done with the explanation part on fixed overheads. Even the time is running now. So concluding this session, thank you so much guys for participating in the session. See you guys in the next session with few more questions on fixed overhead. Plus I'll be discussing the concepts of variable overhead variances. So till then, I request you guys to please solve all the practice questions, all the illustrations of study material relating to fixed overhead, material variances, and labor variances. So guys, I request you guys, I repeat again, I request you guys to solve all the illustration and practical question relating to material, labor, and fixed overhead variances. So I'll try to resolve, so whatever the queries, whatever the doubts you have, I'll try to resolve in the next session. So guys, do practice a lot. Practice is the only solution. Try to solve the questions in writing. There is no alternative of hard work. So that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for your time and patience. God bless you. See you day after tomorrow with the remaining part of the chapter. Thank you so much, guys.